The cadet movement in Canada is probably the best youth movement anywhere in the country, because its aim is to produce good citizens, not to recruit for the military. And part of the responsibility of being a good citizen is to honor those who have served their country, and particularly those who've lost their lives in conflict, fighting for our country. And to have those young people, first of all, volunteer to do it, undertake a tremendous amount of training, hours and hours, days and weeks of training in order to enable them to play professionally the last post as it is done every day in Ypres by the Ypres Fire Brigade, I think was a wonderful thing to see. And every one of those young people, boys and girls together, we're very proud of what they did, and were able to take part in a significant historical event, and they were just pleased as punch to do it.
We're considered Canada's best kept secret. I mean, this program, music is only a part of this program. And there's cadets that sail, and there's sea cadets, there's cadets that fly gliders, fly planes. There's a whole spectrum of events here. So by cadet musicians, you see, they get to profile the program to an audience. And something like this audience now has become millions of people. So everybody gets to know what a great opportunity these cadets have, and what a great opportunity the cadets, or the cadet organization, gives to our Canadian youth.
Because we are the future leaders, I like to think. They pick the future leaders to be the representation for Canada for Men Engaged.
It's an amazing experience for the cadets, and for the cadets, I think it's something that they're always going to be able to look back on. That's something that they can say, I was part of this.
I hate cliches, but I'm going to say passing the torch. We're passing the torch on to them. People my age all knew people from World War I. We had relatives, and then in the military, you'd run into them all at Remembrance Day ceremonies or in the legions, and all of a sudden, it feels like all of a sudden for me, they're gone. They're gone, and it's 100 years ago. And now the young people don't have a direct connection. They never sat down and talked to their great uncle. They never heard the grandmother talk about when Daddy was at the war. They didn't hear that. And now the danger would be that they'd be either names on a wall or black and white pictures. And these weren't. These were people that were just as young as them, just as vibrant as them. And that's, I think, the most important thing to take away from it.
Well, I think there is a future for remembrance, and one of the things that is oftentimes controversial, people say about all museums and all of these commemorative events that we're celebrating war and so on. We're not celebrating anything, we're commemorating important events in our history, in particular those events that led to the deaths and horrendous wounds of Canadian soldiers, sailors, airmen and women. If we don't commemorate and remember those things, we're doing a disservice not only to their memory, but to our country as a whole. And so we feel as if in the Army Museum, Halifax Citadel, a sacred trust to ensure that the memories, the service and the sacrifice of those soldiers from Nova Scotia and from Canada are never forgotten. And we take pride in our ability to tell those stories of individual soldiers, the fact that they were people, individual persons who had lives, who had aspirations, who never came home. We never know. The flower of Canadian youth dying in Flanders and France during the First World War. 67,000 men killed in action, 178,000 wounded, and many other thousands perhaps who were never counted as wounded, that may have had to deal with the effects of battlefield stress and the sights and sounds that they'd heard over their service during the Great War, who have just who just went on with their lives and never said anything to anyone, but they suffered. And so it's up to us to ensure that future generations don't forget this, because it was a tremendous act of sacrifice for a very small nation.